All right, so we'll call to order the April 15th special meeting of the HVAC IAQ Building Committee. Okay, so let's do it. Rodney, is your audio any better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. All right, who would like to share someone's
I'm getting there.
presentation? You have that's what we want. Ooh, that's small. I want to do this Pledge of Allegiance. So good. All right, we can do the pledge faster since Mark went through the trouble of the flag. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let's do it. A lot of little boxes to look at here.
Yeah, Mark, how do you want to go about this? I have my own PDF. Do you want me to share mine?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see here.
All right, which school you want to start with, Tim?
We could start. I just have North Stratfield up. We can start with that one. So can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So here, I'm trying to back this out. So we went through the punch list, obviously presented by BL. They did have this little legend up here that they put, which was different types of damages: chipped and damaged, dirty, sagging, tiles that they think are cut short, and then like light scratches. So our team went through and kind of did a count, of what is what. And essentially what we came up is there was no sagging tiles that were identified in the punch list based on BL's legend. We did have total tiles cited, to have issue was 206. They're saying between, again, damaged, scratched, dirty, or cut short. And this legend, as you can see here, they have different colorings, teal and mainly teals and oranges, which if we go up to the legend are chipped and damaged or dirty.
So 206 tiles are flagged from a punch list item to be replaced.
Yes.
Out of how many total?
I actually don't have the total count on this one. I only have the ones that were cited as
I'm sorry, Tim. Would you said nothing was flagged as sagging in North?
They had nothing flagged as sagging at North Stratfield. We also noticed that at Osborne too. It was mainly Fairfield Woods that had the sagging.
Okay.
I've got square footages of the majority of the rooms for North Stratfield. So, 206, and those are 2x2 tiles, correct?
Yes, 2x2s at North Stratfield.
So we're talking about.
That's why you're not getting the sagging.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Right. So
that's not even 800 square feet is basically what it is, and that's essentially a classroom, because I've got 660, 670 square feet, 744, 780, 800, 743, 815, and almost 900 square feet in one of,
Yeah, I mean, if it's a 2x2 tile, 2x2 tile, 206 of them, it's roughly 124 square feet.
We must have the total square footage of the work. Somebody did that math when we paid for it and when we ordered the tiles, right? So somewhere along the line here, there's an accurate square footage count.
Yeah,
I know, Mark, you just did some quick math, but there's got to be a number. Somebody's got a number somewhere, right?
Well, I'm sure they bump it, the whatever percentage for the cut tiles and aged and whatever. So there's a percentage on top of what they've ordered. Well, how much tile, because they've priced it to replace, correct? How much tile do they have?
They don't have the exact tile in there. They have a price of basically $3,000 to fix the tiles that were cited in North Stratfield. And again, that's
No.
something we're what?
They gave us a price for Humidguard for phase 1.
Oh yes, yeah.
Did they provide a square footage there?
All right, can I just, let's go back. So there are no sagging tiles. This is Osborne?
This is
North
no
Stratfield.
I'm sorry, North Stratfield. There's no sagging tiles whatsoever. Why are we even contemplating replacing them, other than the damaged ones? Can somebody answer that for me, please?
Yep. It is the preference for the Fairfield Public Schools is to use the Humidguard tiles in the schools. It is what was used at Mill Hill, Holland Hill, and I believe Riverfield. Correct,
All right.
Sal?
It's a
Can
preference.
you hear me?
Is that written down
Can
somewhere?
you hear me?
In a specification?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Or a
Okay.
preference sheet?
They will end up being sagged. We've already gone through this with various spaces throughout the district. So I'm glad that within 1 year that these 2x2 tiles aren't sagging, but they will. And I'm not like being Chicken Little. We know that they will. And they really showed up on the 2x4 tiles very early. It's just a matter of time.
Okay. My question is, Sal, does the town, the Board of Education, have a preference sheet that's given to all consultants? This is what we prefer.
We gave up the specifications from the previous job. No, I don't have a spec sheet to hand to the consultants that are supposed to develop the specs. We gave them access to the previous specifications. It said, this is what we want. We've done the
All right.
last 4 building projects,
So
and they had Humidguard tiles, and
Right.
we didn't get them on this project. So it was just a continuation of what we've been getting, and the design documents that we have had. Even Jesse had said that it was a mistake. We had that statement previously, and we would like to have the Humidguard tiles. They're thicker, they're more dense, they hold up, they have a longer warranty. It's not even the I'll say Cadillac of ceiling tiles that are out on the markets. There's actually, I believe that Armstrong has something called School X or something like that that has a 30-year warranty against sagging. This is a 10-year warranty. It is something that, we're already seeing it. Osborne, Osborne, Fairfield Woods, North Stratfield, because of the 2x2 configuration, we're being a little bit luckier. But, it will end up being not sufficient. And I disagree. I did see a sagging tile, but it was loaded. It had a device on it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, yeah, Rodney, so fair question. The idea where I was hoping to go is to understand the level of impact. So to understand better what our exposure is and how we figure out the march forward and who's paying for what, but I wasn't sure how big of an issue we were talking about. Was where I was trying to get my head around. So 824 square feet in North Stratfield are going to be tagged for replacement. And then what was our belief of the total square footage of ceiling tiles in phase one? Because it's roughly $100,000 project to replace all of them is what, because of all of the electrical and fire sprinkler heads and whatnot.
Sprinklers. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
So based
14
on the
classrooms.
So, I mean, to
Well,
be honest,
800 square.
you're probably talking less than 5% of the
yeah,
tiles. are
I'm
damaged.
guessing 3% based on cost.
Yeah.
Hang on, I had a takeoff here. I had 17,000 square feet North Stratfield for phase one.
17,000 square feet.
17,644, and we compared it to Central Connecticut. They had about 17,640, so we were right on the money with both of them. That was for phase one of North Stratfield.
So 640. That's square feet, right?
Yeah, so just under 5%.
Yeah, I just pulled
right?
up. Yeah, I just pulled up a
Yeah.
file I had with takeoffs on it from this job for the ceiling. So
How many tiles did he cite?
206. It was 824
206.
square feet in 2x2s.
206 tiles. So just under 5%,
Yeah.
4.67%.
I was closer.
That's pretty good, Rodney. Like you've been doing this for a while. All right. Okay.
So we're 5%. So out of $100,000, that's peanuts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the other schools first. I don't want to make any conclusions off this one data element.
Yeah.
That was good. All right.
So at Osborne Hill, I mean, I can share my screen and just tell you the numbers. So at Osborne Hill, we had 170 tiles cited. Again, all being between damaged, scratched, dirty, or short, cut short, and sagging. There was 0 identified as sagging at Osborne.
Again, 2x2 tiles, right?
No, 2x4 over at that school.
2x4, no sagging.
Yeah,
How long have the tiles been in?
about the same time since August.
At the same time, really? All right.
I think that's a misstatement, but I'll go with what BL's saying, but there's definitely sag at phase one, Osborne Hill. That's my unofficial statement. But we're working with the data that we have from the team.
All right, so 170 tiles. How many total tiles for Osborne?
Or square feet, right?
Or square feet? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Square footages for Osborne phase one, I have 13,290. So again, 170 tiles, or sorry, that's 8 square feet a tile.
So it's another 10%. It's about 1360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, about another 10%. A little bit more.
1%.
And Osborne is how much? Again, $100,000 or whatever.
Yeah, roughly it's $100,000. Yeah, the total was it was like 330,000.
Yeah, based on our numbers. Yeah, phase one we're around 75,000 for Osborne Hill, and North Stratford we're at 105. that's with even the back charges for the damaged tiles that we're going to utilize here from with Ferguson.
Wow. Okay. And we want to move on, or do you have other questions?
Yeah, so that's about a 10%. So there's about a 10% punch list at Osborne Hill. And we'll have to validate, but there's a call out of no sagging according to the sheet. Okay.
Yeah, so the big one here is Woods. So Woods, we had a total of 1,512 tiles cited. Total tiles of sagging only were 812. And out of that 812, 162 are also considered to be damaged or dirty, which would be a punch list repair, not just a sag. The other tiles were 700 that were technically damaged, scratched, dirty, or cut short. So obviously a bit more substantial on this school. And there was quite a bit more sag, mainly in the corridors down by the gymnasium and the theater. A lot of the tiles on the second floor and first floor were not as affected with any type of sag, just your normal damages.
Tim, just to be clear, that 1512 you called out in the punch list, that includes the 162 that were also sagging.
Yeah. So we're telling you
it's
is
already included in that 1512.
Well, so basically 800, yes, but 812 are considered sagging. And in that 812, 162 also have damages. So we said that those would be replaced via the punch list.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that that's included in that 1512 number. It's not 1512 plus 162.
No.
It's
1512 is encompassing that. Yep.
Okay.
And then numbers on on Fairfield Woods, takeoff wise, I'm carrying for the first floor, phase 1, I have 23,086 square feet, and then second floor I have 11,918. So what I have to be careful is I'm not, hang on, let me just check this. So 23,086 plus 11,918 should be about 35,000 square feet total for phase 1 area. And again, Central Connecticut was carrying about 35,800. So we're very close in numbers. So again, if we're talking about the damaged tiles, we're looking at roughly the 700 plus the other 162. So that's 862 tiles.
So you have 4.2%.
Yeah.
From a punch list item. And about half that number.
Yeah, it would be about, but just shy of 7,000 square feet. Actually, might be a little bit different, right? Because it's 8 square feet of tile, and we're saying we have 700 plus the 162 that are damaged, so those will be replaced under the punch list. 862 times 8 square feet, 6896. I'm at like 19%.
And your replacement cost for that school is about 120, right?
Let me look. Replacement for Woods was actually a bit more. It was closer to 190.
That's the
because it's just right the sheer amount of square footage. So it's 120 for Central, and then we had to carry the Ferguson and the Blackwater number as well. And that's with the back charge that that Ferguson's taking on for the damages they may have caused coming back for comeback work.
So Woods is, we said 20% or 19%?
Yeah, I'm right around 19%.
Now, this is just replacement tiles, correct? Or is this new tiles as well that haven't been put in yet?
No, that was a debate, Rodney, to figure out when we talk about the full load how much of it was going to be covered already by punch list or sagging. So
Okay.
I was
But there's-
hoping, I don't know what I was hoping, but it's so the numbers are, so I don't know what the normal punch list percentage would be, like what is normal, but we're seeing 4.2%, 4.6%, so about 5% replacement, and then OHS is a little higher at the 10%, but that doesn't get us anywhere close to the full Monty here.
No, not at all. And then we still have the cost for the upgrade for the new tiles that haven't been put in yet, correct?
Those have already been approved.
Yeah.
I know, but it's an additive.
It was added.
Yes.
Yes.
What was the cost of that? If I can't remember, my brain is too old.
I think we had 16,000 at Woods. We had about 13,000 at Osborne, and we had another 12,000 at North Stratfield.
That was for the upgrade to fine fissure for the second phase of the ceiling tiles.
Yeah, so phase 2 totals with the Gilbane markups and everything, I think it was around $41,000 for all 3 schools together for the upgrade.
And jumping back to North Stratfield, just looking at it, there's no one room that has a particularly, it's pretty equally dispersed, if that's the right word.
At North Stratfield, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm just looking at these quick, but it looks like it's all small. I'm just trying to see if there's any particular areas that had more damage than another, if you will, but it doesn't really look that way.
I mean, that's probably the worst room.
It's a little different in Woods. In Woods, it's a little bit more. There's a couple areas that are pretty grouped up, right? Oh, man, right. Second half
On the
of the
punch
hallway.
list?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the picture quick here. All right. Okay.
All right, so total, including the cost already approved, this is a $360,000 mistake.
Okay.
Approximately.
Yeah. 330, 360. Yeah. I would have that total this.
Wow.
Jesse, did you get anywhere? I saw you on the call. Did we get any further information from Armstrong? Has anything changed on that front?
No, unfortunately, it really hasn't.
So there's a endurance discussion around how much tile will sag in the future. And then there's an aesthetic issue around they don't match exactly. So there's an aesthetic of, you can see the difference between the old and the new. If we replaced the phase 1 tiles with the fine fissure, that 5% would be a different look slightly different. I have not done a side-by-side eyeball comparison, but I'm told that there's some differences, right? So you can tell. So it's just but it's a lot of money.
So Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems a lot of the cost is in labor.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of it, correct?
Yeah.
So let me throw something out here. For Osborne and North Stratfield, we just replaced, well, and actually Woods as well, I guess. But we can talk about it. We replaced the tiles that are damaged with the new tiles. We purchase attic stock for the entire, all three buildings and store it. I don't know if there's storage capacity or whatever, but it's a reduced cost. And then you have, when they need to be switched out, you have Board of Ed personnel switch them out. So you're saving on all that labor cost for this project. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, and doing deferred maintenance. So as if you're calling out, like, so if next year we had whatever 10 tiles that sag at a school, you could replace them with a box of stuff.
Right.
And not incur any cost to the project or to the operational budget at the
Well, you're
time.
incurring costs, but you're not incurring that huge cost, that 300 and,
Yeah.
$60,000 cost.
It would be it would be noticeable if you checkerboarded them like that. As suggested, walking away from the job, it would look like it will look like you have two different tiles. I'll put it that way.
You do.
Because you do. The thought pattern that we don't have enough labor. We don't have enough in-house labor to do the repairs. You know, to keep up with the repairs is very difficult. To take on a job like that, and to think it's going to be done well. You got the future to do it. It just won't get done. That's the statement that I've been making. If it's not done within the four corners of the project, it's just not going to get done. And then it'll be an issue down the line, and it'll be more expensive because you're going to be remobilizing. You're going to be gathering the team that you need, where you have them here already mobilized. Plus escalation.
You don't want to do that because it's going to be more expensive.
On and on and on. Yeah. And the when you're saying mistake, I mean, if it was a update, if it was an upgrade before one tile was put in, it would be the differential of the material, where the quote unquote error is or the rework is phase one. That's the upgrade for phase two. While that's an expense, it's what we wanted in the first place. So you have to look at it would be looked at in a different manner, I would hope.
Well, the phase two has already been approved, and
Correct.
I assume it's in the works. So yes, in that sense of the word, it would be looked at differently. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, what does this do to our contingencies?
I know I have them on there. I'm not sure if I've considered this deferred or if it's part of the bottom line. Hang on.
Mhm.
I mean, at once, I'm looking at the FSR, the financial status report, so we were at about what, total project contingency remaining balance was 1.2 million.
Right, but I have it as deferred, so it's not part of the bottom line.
Sorry, if what is deferred?
I put the ceiling changes as deferred, meaning that
Mhm.
it is not part of the bottom line.
So meaning it's not recognized yet as an expense.
Correct. It's not
Right.
it's not encumbered.
So Rodney, from a pure financial perspective, the project, if this were the only contingency hits, project does not go over budget from a contingency perspective. We were already over budget from a non-contingency perspective, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not clear to me the full list of other perspectives that are being asked for. I know there's the only one larger one I'm aware of is the thermostat upgrades.
Correct.
was-
And that is at Woods and Osborne. Now,
It's roughly a couple $100,000 if I remember correctly.
it's a couple hundred at Woods, and Osborne it is less than 50, I believe.
Okay, so it's more like 250 for the thermostats.
Yes. Now,
Now the hardware, the hardware has been encumbered, sorry. The ballistic hardware that we approved
yeah.
last week.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I understand the aesthetics and understand there's potentiality. I'm really, I'm having a hard time swallowing $300,000 on it.
Yeah, so am I.
And when you do your costing, you said $3,000 for North Stratfield, so is there some sort of standard rate per square footage or per tile you guys are using?
Let me check something really quick. I asked Central for a better breakdown. Let's see if this came in this other email. Hang on. So roughly, if I just do the math off this proposal, so let's just say North Stratfield, we had, what did I have? I had 206 tiles. So I had what was it? It was 206 times 4. So 824 square feet. He's telling me he has materials clocked in 1152. I think it's like $1.40 a square foot
For repair.
for
for the tiles only, just the materials.
That's the new tile, correct?
for new tile.
That's something
And it was a 50-cent difference. The stuff in phase
Yeah, I
one was
can't.
about 80 cents a square foot. And I
What's
thought,
existing is 80 cents?
yes. And it was a 50-cent difference. So it's like 80 and a buck 30 and 80 cents in material only.
What are you using? You must have a number that you guys are using for your punch list, right? When you're going after your subs or whatever for uh, reclaim costs and that. So there's some number that's being
Well,
used.
Well, essentially, no, essentially that's the quotes we got from Central that I'm using right now. So we brought Central in, had them walk the punch list with our team and come up with a dollar value, both labor and materials, that we would push back on the subs. And essentially for this project, it's Ferguson that had a lot of the back end work coming back in areas to clean up phase one stuff. So they're the ones who are taking the brunt of this, if not all of it, to be honest, for phase one on all three schools. No other trades were in that area after we vacated in the fall or in the end of summer break.
I'm just trying to. So what is the per tile cost, if you will, to replace it, material and labor? Is there some, like, you must be using some math to say it's $1, $3, $3.64, whatever the.
Let me see. I mean, yeah, I basically can just do this. So at North Stratfield, again, we had 824 square feet. So 2503 divided by 824. So it's roughly like $3 and change a tile. Labor and materials, or is that? No, it's per square foot.
Labor, materials, and markup.
Yeah, I mean, I just took the $3,000 and divided it by. I got like 364. I wasn't sure if that number aligned.
Yeah, it's roughly around there. I mean, again, that's a square footage. That's a square footage cost. It's not a per tile. I'd have to do.
Well, yes, for sure. Either way, I think I did it by the. Yeah, I think I did the 824. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, right. I wasn't planning on making any conclusions today. I just was trying to. I was hoping to get clarity of how, what we were talking about, how big the punch list was, and what the exposure was for the full Monty.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think Joe should be included on any decisions of something this magnitude.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we've missed? So it sounds like somebody needs to do a quick eyeball of Osborne Hill for sagging. And I can't see that's the red is the sagging at Woods.
Yeah, the red shat is the sagging, and then it almost looks like highlighted red, or the orange is the damaged tiles. So as you get into it.
Do you want me to share my screen quick, Mark? We did a blue beam overlay of this because it was to make it a little easier to read. Here, let me do this one more time. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, what's going on?
You got to hit share again.
Yep, I got it.
There
you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So again, we took what you just saw on Mark's screen, a lot of the handwritten notes. We copied them over in Bluebeam. So we did sagging in red because it was a little hard to distinguish. But this is why, again, a lot of these corridors, which are down by the gymnasium and the theater and the music room, is where the heavy hitting was with any sagging. And you can see obviously the other colors here. We had we had dirty and damaged. Again, chip, damage, or dirty. So that's the teal and the orange. So again, more minor, actual punch list work other than the sagging for the,
So the red is sagging, so those entire corridors, you're saying most of the corridors are sagging? Is that how I'm interpreting this?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm
you
not
got it.
saying it, but yes, that's what's being stated.
Well, you're telling me that the red represents sagging.
Yes,
So
red is
looking
considered
at it,
sagging.
those two hallways are pretty much the entire hallways are sagging.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these two hallways. So again, not sure if there was anything to do with, I don't know, the environment in that specific area, because as you come
Well,
down to this corridor, you don't have pretty much any issue. And for some reason, these classrooms are being shown as badly sagging as well. And we go to the second floor and we have virtually no sagging on the second floor. So
Really?
it is a bit, the pattern is odd, but
Well, we have 3 corridors and 2 classrooms,
right.
essentially. That's could it have been a bad batch?
Armstrong says no, right? I think we went down that path.
Did we go down that path?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a weird. It's very, very consolidated. If that's really what we're seeing. I mean, that's.
I mean, the only thing I will say is, again, these corridors were being heavily used towards the end of the summer by the school and everything for theater and other things. So I don't know if just, doors being open more, allowing more outside air in these areas were part of the problem, as where the classrooms were pretty much, quarantined off to general use. Obviously, same thing with the second floor. There was really no one in these rooms until until school started in the fall. So these doors were pretty much shut. Everything was shut. Whereas I will say, these corridors were still, they were open for people.
But the ones on the second floor have been in for almost 8 months?
All this has been in the same amount of time. This was all phase 1. The second floor here,
Yeah.
and all of these were all put in about the same time. It was like, early mid-August, probably actually early August, because we had to get out of the way of the teacher or those custodians to do their waxing and cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been middle to late July too, if they were doing all through
middle
school.
to late July. Yeah, I mean, I could look. I could check
it's-
back to when we started installing, but I'd say it was probably mid-July we started getting them in there to do grid and padding in certain places.
I mean, where did you start, Tim? Not that it matters too much.
We started on the second floor.
So those are the older ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that shoots it right out of the sky.
Yeah, there's no pattern to it except for the corridors next to the doors. How do the students enter the building for like beginning of the day and end of the day? Are those doors the student access? Because the bus loop is at the front of the building. Where's the parent drop off?
Parent drop off, I think, is on this side of the building, actually, over by where our office is.
That's
so
true.
you have the front vestibule here.
You got
and
that
then you come
loop.
all the way down. Yeah, the parent drop off's down here. So, like I said, there was summer stuff going on here. I know,
Yep.
there was programs and stuff towards the end of the summer. So again, it just don't know, right? It just these doors were being utilized at times. There's a vestibule over here that's being utilized. I can't really explain a theory here because this is technically more enclosed. But I don't know if it's like, right, air circulation that was maybe happening. I don't know, but it is odd. It's heavily in this area.
And then you have the 2 classrooms. Why?
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, 2 classrooms, almost. Yeah.
Hey, Sal, just for giggles, what was the original tile?
Well, at Osborne,
No, at Woods. the one we're looking at now?
At Woods, I couldn't, the number of renovations, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
The 2012 probably had the Humidguard. I know, and we used to laugh, the room that's used as Gilbane's office, which they just recently de-padded, had the questionable tiles there, and they were all sagged. There was a Fairfield Woods was a mutt. It had many different tiles.
Yeah, the corridors that we're seeing in red, could they have been the newer tile? Maybe not.
Well, I'm doing it on my phone because I lost my internet connection in the power here. That is going over to I'm trying to make it out on the small screen here.
Auditorium and gyms.
Yeah, that could have been redone. I'm trying to think that was the 93. That was the 1993 to 96 work. So I'm not sure what we actually had there. As a
And you had no problems, no difficulties.
Were the ceilings tired in Fairfield Woods? Yes, they were.
Well,
being the ones that we removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were tired ceilings. There was no doubt about that.
But they weren't sagging and all that other good stuff.
Oh, there were sag tiles throughout the building. It wasn't it wasn't what we would like it to be. I'll say that, make that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Osborne Hill had tiles that were very bowed, and that was a Ortega second look tile from like 1996. That was popular back in the 90s. But it wasn't a high grade tile. It was a high look tile, but it wasn't a well made tile.
And you've had no difficulties in the other schools that use the Humidguard?
No, those perform very well.
We had I had
We
the
went to look
super
at
from Gilbane go back to Holland Hill to take a look for sagging tiles. Holland Hill, and it was the first phase of Holland Hill, so that was done in August of 2018, and there were no sagging tiles there.
and
So
also
we're
when
talking
I also
6-7 years.
went to Riverfield, which was done in 2015, and those ceilings are nice and tight and level and true and good looking and all that stuff.
Yeah, we're still going to have the less than optimal edging, right? That's not going to be addressed in any of this rework. So
Correct. The perimeter wall angle stays.
okay.
Well, we beat this to death enough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time here, guys. This was helpful for me. That's what we're looking at, the second floor?
That's first floor.
This is first floor right now.
First floor.
No, that's first floor.
All right. Okay. All right. Anything else, Rodney? Anybody
No,
else?
sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I guess we're
All
in
right,
official
thanks,
meetings.
guys.
We have to make a
Have a good
motion.
afternoon.
So I'll make a motion to
Yes,
adjourn.
thank you. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Ciao.
Take care.
Thank you.